When people think of Siberia, they often picture a wild, icy, snow-covered, and desolate land. However, that is only a tiny fraction of this vast region. Hidden behind the long, harsh winters are majestic mountain ranges. Giant rivers that break through thick ice in the summer. And landscapes that reveal a completely different appearance wherever you go. Here, wild animals still dominate the vast spaces where human footprints are merely tiny specks. This is not simply the icy Siberia that the world usually imagines. This is a journey into the most wild and mysterious, yet uncovered, regions of this harsh land. Known as the land of fire and ice, the Kamchatka Peninsula boasts one of the highest densities of active volcanoes in the world. Despite its size being roughly equivalent to Germany, it is almost an isolated oasis, lacking any direct road connections. This isolation has inadvertently made Kamchatka a haven for over 20 brown bears. One of the densest bear populations on the planet. Every autumn, these giants flock to the waterfalls to hunt sockeye trout, creating one of Russia's most spectacular and wild natural spectacles. After their feast, they are often seen relaxing by the steaming hot springs of the Giza Valley, amidst a dynamic geothermal area. But that's not all. Kamchatka is also one of the few places on Earth that offers the ultimate experience. Skiing down the slopes of a smoking volcano, hurtling straight down to the long stretches of black sand beaches of the Pacific Ocean. Known as the dominant geothermal area in the Eurasian continent, the Giza Valley proudly holds the title of the world's second largest Giza field. This entire wonder lies within a narrow gorge, a dense concentration of over 90 hot springs, bubbling mud pits, and giant geysers. Running through the valley is the warm Giza River, which keeps the entire area enveloped in thick, misty steam. This magical warmth is a magnet for Kamchatka brown bears, which return every spring. After a long, cold winter hibernation, they gather around the warm vents to bask in the sun and seek sustenance. The valley's vitality is also an extraordinary symbol of nature. Almost completely buried after a devastating landslide in 2007, the valley has miraculously healed itself. The immense pressure from deep within the earth has broken through the sealing mud and rock layers, allowing for vigorous regeneration. Today, due to the extremely rugged volcanic terrain and the complete lack of roads, helicopters remain the only means by which humans can access this enchanting wilderness. In the far reaches of Russia's Far East, the Tolbachic volcano stands tall like a gateway to hell. This place once witnessed the most violent upheaval in the history of the Kamchatka Peninsula, with fissure eruptions of unprecedented scale. Spanish across this land is a surreal spectacle. Fields of thick, black lava. Hills of ash stained a blood-red color. And deep fissures beneath the earth that continue to spew intense heat from the depths of the planet. The historic fury of Tolbachic in 1975 wiped out a vast area of nature, giving birth to a chilling place known as the Forest of Death. Here, thousands of charred, bare tree trunks, like dry skeletons, have stood for decades. Yet, on this land of death, a miracle has occurred. Siberia's resilient life doesn't easily surrender. Siberian pine saplings are silently taking root, reaching powerfully through the cold ashes to restore the green of hope to the once destroyed land. In its earth-shattering eruption in 2012, its molten lava flow created microscopic diamonds and a host of other exotic minerals. Life and death, destruction and treasure are intertwined in this land. Even today, the underground fire beneath Tolbachic has not yet died out. The heat from the large geothermal fissures is so intense that visitors can even experience the sensation of frying or grilling food directly on the lava rock surface. If one were to find a symbol of the surging energy of the Russian Far East, it could only be Mutnovski. This volcano boasts the largest active crater on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Unlike its siblings, which have a complete conical shape, Mutnovski is a colossal collapsed structure. A deep, gaping crater, 2 kilometers wide and 600 meters deep, roars with intense heat from its very depths, day and night. This geological wonder is the result of a devastating tectonic event in the past. When 4 ancient volcanoes collided and merged, creating a unique double crater system shaped like a giant figure 8. Entering Mutnovski is like stepping into a surreal world, where the boundaries between the two most extreme extremes of nature are blurred. Here, millions of years old permafrost lies peacefully beside sulfur vents reaching hundreds of degrees Celsius. Ice and fire, the biting cold and the scorching heat coexist, creating a scene that is both majestic and eerie. This harsh interplay gives rise to the toxic Volcanaya acid river. Formed from melting ice mixed with pungent sulfur gases. This river flows turbulently through the volcanic caldera. Despite its deadly beauty, the enormous geothermal energy hidden deep within Mutnovski is an inexhaustible treasure. Scientists have spent decades studying this area, making it an ideal resource for geothermal power plants. Famous for being one of Kamchatka's most vibrantly colored, but also one of its most dangerous craters. Gorely boasts highly corrosive acid lakes capable of disintegrating many materials in an instant. The entire structure of this wonder is a complex geological formation of 11 stacked craters. Forming enormous basins carved directly into the side of the towering mountains. What makes Gorely so captivating are its mesmerizing lakes that constantly change color. depending on the concentration of toxic gases released from the Earth's core and underground chemical reactions. The lake's surface can dramatically transform from a brilliant turquoise blue to a milky white, then to a menacing rusty orange. Approaching the edge of the crater, the air becomes thick with a pungent smell of sulfur, mingled with the eerie. Deep roars echoing from the depths of the Earth's crust. Despite its ferocious appearance and the deadly power of nature it possesses, Gorely is a friendly paradox. It is considered one of the easiest volcanoes to conquer on the entire Kamchatka Peninsula. You don't need to be a professional climber or have extraordinary physical fitness. Anyone with average health can trek to the edge of the lake to witness this surreal natural spectacle firsthand. Stretching like a ribbon connecting Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula to Japan's Hokkaido, the Kuril Islands are one of the most desolate and isolated borders on the world map. This island chain is actually a giant arc of fire rising from the Pacific Ocean, created by the devastating tectonics of nearly 40 volcanoes that are still erupting day and night. The area is shrouded in thick fog and fierce sea storms year-round, a natural veil concealing its surreal beauty from the human world. The allure of the Kurils lies in their breathtaking wildness. Here, towering black basalt cliffs stand majestically against the raging ocean waves. Steaming hot springs nestled within the craters of extinct volcanoes. And dense coniferous forests are home to red foxes and enormous seal colonies. More than just a geological wonder, the Kuril Islands are also a land of ongoing historical disputes. Situated at a strategic crossroads, the sovereignty of this island chain has been a long-standing point of contention between Russia and Japan for decades. Leaving behind the noise of the civilized world, the Kuril Islands stand there silently, proudly, and as pristine as they were in the beginning. Standing majestically on the horizon of the port city of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, Avachinsky is not only a geological wonder, but is also affectionately called the home volcano by the locals. However, this approachable appearance does not diminish the awe-inspiring presence of one of the most active stratovolcanoes on the peninsula. With its perfectly symmetrical, snow-capped peak proudly adorned year-round, Avachinsky resembles a giant guardian, silently observing human life below. The contrast that defines Avachinsky lies in its very heart. Upon reaching the nearly 750-meter height to touch the rim of the crater, a completely different world unfolds before your eyes. Contrary to the peaceful, idyllic view from afar, the inner cavern is a true furnace. Since the devastating eruption of 1991, the crater has been sealed by a massive, dark gray lava plug. Around this plug, hundreds of geothermal vents continuously spew out roaring streams of steam, dyeing the rocky landscape a brilliant yellow with pure sulfur crystals. Because of its incredibly advantageous location, Avachinsky has become a sanctuary for adventurous souls. Unlike other remote and desolate volcanoes in the Far East, the trek to the summit of Avachinsky is an exhilarating yet manageable challenge. In the Karasu Valley of the Altai Mountains, there is a peculiar hillside covered with mushroom-shaped rock formations. Locals call this place Aorum, meaning white rocks. It is one of the most unique geological wonders of Siberia. These rock towers were created by natural erosion over thousands of years. Each giant mushroom consists of two distinct parts. The mushroom cap is a hard, massive rock weighing tons. The stem underneath is a softer mixture of clay and gravel. Over time, rain and wind erode the surrounding soft soil. The result is the sturdy rock pillars supporting the giant cap atop. The landscape at Aorum is constantly changing. These rock mushrooms do not last forever. They are still shifting, growing, or collapsing due to earthquakes and extreme weather. The experience of standing in this rocky valley offers a sense of both awe and pristine wonder to anyone who visits. Located near the Chuya Highway in the Altai Mountains, the Kizelchin Valley opens up a surreal space that makes anyone who sets foot there feel as if they have just landed on Mars. The name Kizelchin in Old Turkic means Red Gorge, accurately reflecting the dominant color of this unique land. This bizarre landscape is made up of layered clay hills, completely devoid of trees. Thanks to the high concentration of metals and minerals in the soil, The slopes resemble a giant natural color palette. Iron creates a deep red. Manganese brings a lilac purple. Chromium dyes the cliffs yellow, interspersed with streaks of milky white and rusty orange. The valley's color constantly changes depending on the angle of sunlight throughout the day, creating a truly spectacular visual spectacle. Hundreds of millions of years ago, this arid land was once the bottom of an ancient ocean. Today, hikers on the Martian hills can still easily find scattered fossilized shells and seaweed. Due to the steep, eroded terrain forming deep trenches and the complete absence of vegetation, Kizelchin possesses an absolutely wild, silent, and solitary beauty. Lake Geyser is one of Siberia's most mysterious natural wonders. Despite its name, Geyser, this lake doesn't erupt with columns of hot water. Its defining characteristic is its absolute stillness and mesmerizing beauty. The lakebed is covered with a layer of grayish-blue clay and fine sand. The magic lies in the powerful underground springs at the bottom of the lake. Periodically, these springs erupt, pushing the clay layer to the surface and creating beautiful concentric circles on the water's surface. These circles constantly move and change shape, transforming the lake's surface into a dynamic kaleidoscope of art. The water of Lake Geyser is crystal clear and has an emerald blue color year-round. Even during the harsh winter, when everything around it freezes. Thanks to the combination of warm groundwater and its mesmerizing blue hues, this lake possesses a surreal beauty that challenges the lenses of every wildlife enthusiast. Located on the Uchar River in the Altai Mountains, is not an ordinary vertical waterfall. This is a massive waterfall, reaching a height of 160 meters, and is considered the largest and youngest waterfall in the pristine Altai region. Uchar is actually a giant rock wall blocking the flow of the Uchar River. The waterfall was formed about 200 years ago after a violent earthquake, causing a section of the mountain to collapse and block the valley. The river was forced to find a way out, winding and rushing through massive boulders the size of buildings, creating an incredibly awe-inspiring and majestic spectacle. The journey to reach Uchar Falls is a real challenge. There are no roads or motorized vehicles that can reach it. Visitors must hike along treacherous trails on the sheer cliffs, crossing fast-flowing streams for hours. In return, the reward at the end of the journey is a thunderous roar and a misty, cool spray that envelops the entire wild valley. Perched precariously on the side of the Chulishman River Valley, Katu Yarak is renowned as one of the most treacherous and spectacular mountain passes in Russia. This is no ordinary pass, but an extremely steep man-made road carved directly into the side of a sheer cliff. This nearly 4-kilometer-long pass is actually a narrow, bumpy dirt road with 9 incredibly sharp hairpin bends. With an average gradient of up to 18% and absolutely no guardrails. One side of the pass is a sheer cliff, the other a bottomless abyss. Vehicles can only travel at extremely slow speeds, requiring intense concentration and nerves of steel from the bravest drivers. Despite its danger, Katu Yarak is the only gateway to the pristine Chulishman Valley and Lake Telitskoye below. From the top of the pass, one is overwhelmed by the magnificent natural scenery. The emerald-green Chulishman River meanders like a thin thread at the bottom of a gorge hundreds of meters deep. Opposite it are waterfalls as thin as white silk ribbons, cascading straight down from the cliffs into the vast valley. Located at an altitude of over 700 meters above sea level, Lake Kucherla is one of the most beautiful glacial lakes in the Altai Mountains. The lake is surrounded by sheer cliffs and dense coniferous taiga forests at the foot of the majestic Mount Beluga. The most distinctive feature of Lake Kucherla is its unique, opaque turquoise color. This color is created by the fine, misty rock dust flowing from melting glaciers upstream. When the sun shines, the lake's surface reflects a magical, milky blue, standing out against the deep green of the pine forests and the gray of the surrounding Rocky Mountains. Kucherla is also a challenging destination for trekking enthusiasts. Due to the lack of paved roads, visitors can only reach the lake by hiking or horseback riding through the forest and mountain passes over several days. In return, the tranquil atmosphere, the fresh air of the high mountains, and the wild beauty of this lake will dispel all the fatigue of the arduous journey. The Aktru Glacier is one of the oldest centers for glaciology research and exploration in Siberia. It boasts massive glaciers located at altitudes exceeding 0 meters above sea level, surrounded by jagged, snow-capped peaks that defy the sky. The glacier system is divided into many large and small branches, the most prominent being the Greater Aktru and the Lesser Aktru glaciers. They resemble giant, sleeping ice monsters, with deep, dark blue cracks and icy, vertical walls. Melting water from these glaciers flows gently down into the valley, creating muddy streams of silt and perpetually cold lakes. Unlike many other remote glaciers, Aktru has a meteorological and mountaineering research station that has been operating for decades at its foot. This is an ideal starting point for mountaineers looking to challenge themselves with glacier trekking or conquer snow-capped peaks. The landscape surrounding Aktru is a breathtaking combination of dense pine forest, desolate gray rock formations, and the eternal white of the ice. Stolby National Park is world famous for its colossal, grayish-pink syenite rock formations rising majestically amidst the lush green taiga forest. The Russians call these natural rock formations Stolby. These unique rock formations were created by molten magma erupting from the Earth's core, but unable to escape. Over millions of years, eroded by rain, wind, and frost, the soft outer layer of rock disappeared, revealing strangely shaped rock towers. Many of these rock formations reach heights of up to 100 meters and possess very distinctive shapes. They are named by locals after their shapes, such as feather, grandfather, lion, or falcon. Krasnoyarsk Stolby is not only a natural wonder, but also the birthplace of the unique free climbing movement known as Stolbism. For over 150 years, adventure enthusiasts have come here to conquer these steep cliffs with their bare hands, completely without ropes or safety equipment. Standing atop these rock pillars, you'll have a panoramic view of the vast Siberian wilderness and the winding Yenisei River in the distance. Perched precariously on a jagged rocky outcrop where the Sea of Japan and the Sea of Okhotsk meet, the Aniva Lighthouse stands tall like a solitary guardian of the past. This magnificent structure is located at Aniva Point, the southeasternmost point of the wild Sakhalin Island, where year-round only roaring waves and thick fog prevail. Built by the Japanese in 1939 under the design of engineer Shinobu Miura, this 9-story lighthouse was a marvel of engineering at the time. It was carved directly into a rounded rock formation in the middle of the ocean, defying even the most ferocious storms of the subpolar region. During the Soviet era, A miniature nuclear power generator, RTG, was installed in the lighthouse. This device allowed Aniva to operate autonomously for decades without human intervention. Today, Aniva is completely abandoned. The radioactive fallout has been cleaned up, leaving behind a gray concrete framework eroded by sea salt and inhabited by thousands of seagulls. From afar, the lighthouse looks like a giant stone ghost ship slowly sinking into the gray fog. The desolation and ruin, combined with its precarious location in the middle of the vast ocean, have transformed Aniva into one of the most haunting and adventurous destinations for daring travelers venturing into the Russian Far East. Deep in Siberia, in Russia's Yakutia region, Oymyakon is the coldest permanent settlement on Earth. In winter, the average temperature here frequently reaches -50 degrees Celsius. The historical record recorded in this village was -71, 2 degrees Celsius in 1924. Life in Oymyakon is a series of extreme survival challenges. At this temperature, boiling water thrown into the air will instantly freeze before reaching the ground. People cannot wear ordinary woolen clothing and must use thick furs to keep warm. Vehicles here must run continuously 247, because if they are turned off for even a few minutes, the engine and oil will freeze completely into a solid block. Burial is also a form of torture here. The land is perpetually frozen and as hard as rock. To dig a grave, people have to burn large bonfires continuously for hours to melt the surface soil, and then they can dig little by little. Despite the suffocatingly harsh conditions, about 500 residents still live here resiliently, making Oymyakon a symbol of extraordinary human resilience in the face of nature. Sakhalin is the largest island in Russia. Located on the northeastern edge of Asia, it is surrounded by the frigid Sea of Okhotsk and the Sea of Japan. The island has an elongated shape, resembling a giant fish swimming in the ocean. This headland was once the focal point of fierce territorial disputes between the Russian Empire and Japan for centuries. This historical struggle has left a unique cultural blend on the island. You can easily find Japanese-style buildings alongside old Soviet-era apartment blocks. Sakhalin's nature is rugged, pristine, yet also fierce. The island boasts dense taiga forests and bays shrouded in mist year-round. Most striking are the vertical, layered basalt cliffs along the coast, where waves roar and crash. Besides its wild beauty, the island also has immense economic value. The land and continental shelf surrounding Sakhalin contain enormous reserves of oil and natural gas. These resources have transformed this isolated island in the Far East into one of Russia's most important energy centers today. The Shantar Islands are a group of 15 pristine islands located in the northwestern Okhotsk Sea. They belong to the Khabarovsk region in the far east of Russia. This is one of the most isolated and inaccessible areas in the world. The climate in Shantar is extremely harsh. Even in summer, huge icebergs drift around the islands. Dense fog blankets the sheer cliffs almost year-round. The combination of ice, strong ocean currents, and fog create a landscape that is both majestic and solitary. The most remarkable feature of Shantar is its rich wildlife. The waters surrounding the islands are home to giant bowhead whales and orca. In summer, visitors can easily spot whales swimming close to the rocky shore. In addition, the islands are home to tens of thousands of seabird, seals, and Siberian brown bears. Due to its extremely remote location, the archipelago is almost uninhabited. There are no hotels or tourist amenities here. Visitors to Shantar must travel by helicopter or icebreaker. It is truly the ultimate destination for those seeking absolute wilderness. Chara Sands is a true sand desert located in the heart of frigid Siberia. This bizarre desert, approximately 10 kilometers long and 5 kilometers wide, is situated in the Chara Valley of the Transbaikal region of Russia. The most unique aspect here is the stark contrast in the landscape. Right next to the golden sand dunes of the desert are not oases, but dense deciduous taiga forest. Just behind the forest lies the majestic Kodar mountain range, perpetually covered in white snow. In winter, snow falls, covering the golden sand slopes, creating a truly paradoxical natural scene. The sand dunes at Chara Sands can reach heights of 15 to 30 meters. They are constantly shifting under the influence of strong valley winds. Despite appearing like a scorching desert, the groundwater flowing beneath these dunes is extremely cold. The journey to Chara Sands is extremely arduous. This place is completely isolated from the outside world. Visitors must take a train to a nearby small town, then trek through the jungle and cross flooded swamps to reach this magical golden sand beach. Located in the Altai region of Russia, bordering Kazakhstan. Burlinskoy is one of the world's most unusual salt lakes. The lake's most striking feature is its magical ability to change color, from its usual grayish-blue hue to a vibrant pink, like a giant strawberry smoothie. This distinctive pink color is not due to chemicals, but entirely to natural processes. It's the result of the vigorous growth of tiny algae called Dunaliella salina and crustaceans called Artemia living in the hypersaline environment. During hot summer weather, the lake evaporates rapidly, increasing the salt concentration. At this time, the algae produce a large amount of red carotenoid pigment to protect themselves from the sun, dyeing the vast expanse of water pink. The lake bed is not mud, but a thick layer of sharp salt crystals. Walking on the shallow lake bed is like strolling on a layer of icy cold snow. Due to the extremely high salt concentration here, reaching 253 grams per liter of water, equivalent to the Dead Sea, people can easily float on the surface without fear of sinking. A unique and iconic image of Lake Burlinskoy is the train running directly into the lake bed. To extract salt from the bottom of the lake, special railway tracks have been laid deep beneath the salty water. Every day, the rusty, armored train silently cuts through the water across the vibrant pink lake, creating a surreal and impressive spectacle for anyone who witnesses it. The Putorana Plateau is a vast wilderness area recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. It is actually a giant basalt basin formed by a massive volcanic eruption 250 million years ago. Over time, erosion has sculpted this land into a system of deep, flat canyons, resembling the giant steps of an ancient civilization. Putorana is known as the Kingdom of 100, a rare occurrence in this region. 0 waterfalls. It boasts the highest density of waterfalls in Russia. From the sheer cliffs of the flat mountains, cascading white streams of water plunge straight down into the deep valleys, creating an incredibly majestic and mysterious spectacle. Due to its harsh subpolar climate, The water in the lakes here is so clear that the bottoms are visible at depths of tens of meters. There are absolutely no roads, no cell phone signal, and no inhabitants here. This absolute isolation transforms the plateau into a safe haven for rare animals, especially the Putorana snow sheep and the enormous migrating reindeer herd. To reach this land, there are no roads. The only way is by helicopter from the mining city of Norilsk, or by boat across the roaring, rushing rivers in the summer. This hardship is a worthwhile price to pay for a ticket to a completely pristine world, where nature operates without the presence of humans. Siberia has never been an easy land. It tests courage with the bone-chilling cold of Oymyakon, isolates travelers in the vast Putorana mountains, and challenges them with the fierce waves around the Katu Islands. But it is precisely this extreme harshness that forms the most perfect shield. When these scenes end, the cold of the Far East may have lessened. But the grandeur and pride of Siberia will surely remain for a long time in the minds of those who have ever yearned for true freedom.